Hello guys. Uh, are you going to be learning Blazor and .NET and you've been doing a lot of React before, then this video is gonna be for you. I'm not going to be doing every single concept and everything in a beginner setting, but I'm going to look at this as if you've done a lot of development before. And so if you're a complete beginner, this might just not be for you. But to get started, we're gonna be creating a project here, and for this I'm just going to go through the app router and how it works and how to create new files. Um, so we'll just make a directory in your terminal here. We call it Blazor demo, and in Blazor the name that you give this folder, your base folder, essentially the root of the project. This is going to be the name of the project when you do create the .NET application in it. So if you'd call this, I don't know, anything. You could call it just shitty project. Then the project will actually be called shitty project. This folder is now empty, and you need .NET installed, of course. We create a new, and we'll create a new Blazor because that's the easiest, the best one to work with. And let's just do this, I think. You're gonna have app settings, which is your .env files. They're just app setting JSONs instead here. Um, they look like this, and usually here you're gonna have your database information and everything. And then inside of components, this is your pages directory. We can actually put this to 3 here. And inside of your components, you can have layouts, pages, and since it's Microsoft, they've messed it up because you won't be putting your components straight under this one. So, or you could do a folder called buttons here, but it's a bit of a poorly named folder. They should have pages and they should have components, but pages, if you create it outside, it's going to be messy because it does a different kind of thing. So yeah, you're gonna keep your pages inside of your components. Yeah, not the best, but it is what it is. Your program.cs is essentially all your server-side code or your that is running, like singletons, or if you're having scoped context. So uh, you can define those outside of here. You make another one called, for example, services, and then you can define services in program, and then that's going to be creating those. Properties, never used this one to be honest, and I've done a lot of this development. And then your www root is going to be your shared folder, and this is going to be accessible by the entire project. So here you'd put your images, you'd put the global CSS, and inside of it you've also got lib, which is for like libraries. And as you can see here, Blazor comes pre-equipped with Bootstrap. And I think that is pretty much all you need to know to get really quickly started here. To run the project, it's a .NET watch run instead of npm run dev. I'm using Vim here, so if you do not know how that works, don't matter. You can use VS Code or anything for this. So this is what you're going to be greeted with, and to understand it quickly, app.razor. This is your essentially this is the project. So here is where you pull in, for example, style sheets, or well, anything really. It just works like uh, the base of everything, and it runs. Yeah, you can do anything in here. So these are your project dependencies, I guess you could call it. So if you want JavaScripts or some things that you want to link from externally, you would do it in here. Here, for example, is a script which is fetching the Blazor assembly. So changes here are very rare, but you need to be able to understand them. So here's your base path for the project. So when the system starts, it's going to go to the file that is defined as just slash, and in this case, it's going to be the home. As you can see down here, it's got an at page and then just a slash here. So that means this is the entry point of the project. If you define another page that has the slash, it's going to break. So you need to, there can only be one file that has this. And if you want to find yours, you could just grep for this and you will find it. So we know it's home.razor and it's this one. So this is what we're going to be seeing. If we want to create another page, the only thing we really need to do is do an at page up here, and then we can give it whatever URL we want. So this is a weird link. Now this is in the same folder as all of these, which is going to be different from how your React application works. But that is also both a pro and a con. You can have, for example, you can group the files that are for the same type of thing, but it's also going to make it much harder to create a good directory or like a good naming convention here. It can be tricky to find the right files. Of course, you can add folders inside of this, and since they don't care about the position of the page, you just define whatever you want it to be called with the at page. So we are going to be stealing this, and when we do this, boom, we're on the page. Very simple. When you save the file, if you're running .NET Watch Run, it's going to update it here. And that's essentially how the app router works. Very easy. And let me explain this. If you do not have a at page up here, it's going to be counted as a component. So if we do a warning box razor here, for example, and we do not, if we define an at page, it generates it as a page. But if we don't do that, we can just create a div, for example, here. Let's create a div with a div and another div in it. And since it's using Bootstrap, you can run, you can go into Bootstrap CSS to understand exactly what these do. But I'm just going to do some standard ones here. We do v3, and then inside of this, we do class with 50, and then we do text center. And we do warning. Now in here, we can just send the warning box. And this should, within a second here, appear here. Actually, I did this in the home instead of the another page here. So if we're in home, boom, you've got that. We can do this. Let's just make it a bit nicer. Rounded, rounded, extra large. We do text white, and we do font weight bold, and we do. Let's just do this. Just like that, and then we do. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how you would create a component, and this is within the app router, of course. So let's also add a code block. This is how you would create something with this code. We can do a parameter and public string message. Get set means that just means that it's going to be automatically set. Here we can do @message. That's how easy it is to get it working. Now it's empty because we're not sending a message here. But what we can do is we can expect if it's empty, we can set a default value like this. And now, as you see, we got the default warning. Now we can add a message, and then we can do not. And now that updated it again. See, quite simple. So parameter allows you to send things to these. So we could just do here. We could also send a sub message. And we could do this one to be for example, an H2. Then here we do the sub message. Now we can do a sub message here as well. More detailed information regarding the issue. And then we do save this, and we save this. And seems to have crashed here. Yeah. It does this when if you're working in, if it's getting null references, it does that. So see, there you go. Now we have, we could remove this, and it's going to say default warning precisely. So that's how it works. Quite simple. So that's how you add components and also how to make the router work in your favor. So you can just add however many you want, and it's going to be working. So please do stay tuned. I will be making one for uninitialized and similar other things coming next. I just hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.